Yes, welcome back to Football Heritage TV on what is a very dark day for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. And it's not just that we lost to Arsenal. It's not just that we lost the North London derby. The club is a shambles, if we're going to be completely honest. And I know many of you think I'm toxic. I know many of you think I'm negative, but I just don't know how long this can go on for. I don't know how long people can just bury their head in the sand and make an excuse of injuries, make an excuse of he's only had 18 months. The same fans that were making videos telling us that we were going to finish third and second and we're in a title race, now making excuses that the squad isn't good enough. Pundits are laughing at us. Rival fan bases are laughing at us. TalkSport are laughing at us. BT have got pundits saying that we play like a team that are under 14s, a team playing like they're in the kindergarten, just running around chasing a football. Pundits, everybody, coaches, ex-managers, all saying there is zero coaching. Nothing has been worked on defensively. There's no shape in the midfield. There's no movement and good passing in the forward areas. I've never seen a worse manager at Tottenham. I've said it a number of times. This isn't new. And my frustration, my critique of this football club comes from a place of love, having supported this club for a bloody long time. And I'm getting really bored of those that think it's good. I'm getting really bored of those that say, oh, you're just toxic. You're part of the toxic brigade. Okay, call me toxic. But I've been right. I've been right about everything at this football club. And still people are backing this. And I've got mountains of evidence to show you. We'll show you the league table. We'll show you the stats. We'll show you the breakdown. We'll show you the form. And I'm at this stage where that hurt as a football fan has now gone numb. It's gone numb to the point where you're going, oh, what's the point? You got a manager that can't coach. This man cannot coach a football team. He cannot not coach. I just did a tactical breakdown on bigup.com and showed you all of our defending, our transitions, our back lines when we're defending set pieces, how our midfield isn't set properly in any game, how our forwards don't get back and support, how we're not tucked in covering wingers, how our body positioning from one-on-one defending is poor. I've gone through it all, and still people like this. And I'm blown away. I'm absolutely blown away as to how we're sitting there as a fan base. And we're so divided. Surely now everyone can see that this manager is dreadful. Yes, he's had some injuries. By the way, Bournemouth have got more injuries than us right now and haven't lost in the Premier League in about 7 games and are, I think, 11 points clear. We'll have a look when we get to the table. I think Bournemouth are 10 points clear of us. They've got loads of injuries, but they're organised, they're coached, they work hard. The injuries excuse is starting to wear thin. The talent that was on that pitch, Basuma, Sarr, Kulusevski, Johnson was his player, Son, Solanke, the player that loads of you rave about. I think he's okay. Loads of you rave about him. Pedro Porro, Kinski the other day was the greatest goalkeeper in the world. Archie Gray's amazing. Jed Spencer's been fantastic. Radu Dragusin's a Romanian international. But then suddenly, when we lose, it's the players. They're not good enough. Those players should not be in the form they're in. Those players should not be. Let's start by having a look at this Premier League table. Let's have a look. Those players should not be 14 points behind Newcastle United, 17 points behind Nottingham Forest, 13 points behind Chelsea, who, by the way, haven't won a league game for 5. Chelsea have not won a league game for 5 and are still 13 points clear of Tottenham. This has been Man City's worst start to a season, hasn't it? For something like God knows how many years or ever in the Premier League, whatever it was. And they're still 11 points clear of us. Aston Villa, Unai Emery's not doing a good job. He's not taken Villa forward. He's 3 points off the top 4 and 11 points clear of Spurs. Bournemouth, more injuries right now than Tottenham. Have a look at Bournemouth. Not lost there in the last 6. I think it's 7 in all competitions. But they find a way. If you're not losing, grab the point. We don't even do that. We just lose now. It's just so many defeats. Fulham are 6 points above us. Fulham. Brentford. Thomas Frank's no good. But 4 points above us. They've got loads of injuries. Brighton have got a game in hand and they're 4 points above us. West Ham sacked their manager because they've done so poorly and they are above us. Let that sink in. Spurs are currently 13th on 24 points. 13th on 24 points. And tonight, if Man United beat Southampton at Old Trafford, Tottenham go into 14th place in the table. 1 win in 6. We're going to get to some big stats in a minute. But by the way, it's 1 win in 9 league games. 1 win in 9 league games against the worst team in the league. Here they are. Southampton. 1 win in 9 league games was against Southampton. The statistical worst Premier League team ever. That was our 1 win in half a season so far. It's embarrassing. He's inept. The club's rotten. We all know the macro problem is Daniel Levy, but the micro problem is Tottenham are sitting 13th, could be 14th tonight, and we will be level tonight on points with Crystal Palace, who will be 15th. That's if Man United win. We're now at the point where we're saying, do you remember? We're only 2 points off the top 4. That was their excuse, these fans, a while back. They're only 5 points off top 4. We're only 7 points off top 4. We're only 10 points off top 4. We're 14 points off top 4. 14. 14 points off top 4. This is not bad form. This is not a blip. This is what Tottenham have been for over a year. The injuries excuse for over a year. Tottenham Hotspur are in the bottom half of the table for form. In the last 35 games, Tottenham Hotspur, of all 17 clubs that have played in the Premier League last year and this year, Tottenham Hotspur are 15th out of 17 teams that have played both season over the last 35 games of football. That's nearly an entire season. That's 3 games off an entire season. Tottenham Hotspur have lost 11 Premier League games in 21. That's a 52.3% defeat rate or something. 52. I'll be polite. I'll be generous. It's a 52% defeat rate this season. 11. Palace have lost 7. Everton have only lost 9. Ipswich have lost 10. They got promoted. The only 3 clubs that have lost more games than Tottenham are Wolves, Leicester and Southampton, the bottom 3. This can't go on. This simply can't go on. This manager has to be sacked and sacked now. I don't care that we're in a semi-final of a cup. People go, oh, well, it's only fair because Jose was sacked before a final. Jose didn't have us sitting in 14th, 15th place in the table. This is a huge problem. Tottenham, there is a demise. The demise is happening in front of our eyes. It has been for years, but it's getting worse and worse and worse. This manager is the worst manager I've ever seen at Tottenham Hotspur. Don't take my word for it. Let's look at some facts. Let's look at some stats, shall we? I'm utterly embarrassed to say I'm a Spurs fan right now. I'm utterly embarrassed that when I talk to people, I have to say, yeah, Ange Postecoglou's our manager. There will be people that don't like what I say here. There will be people that fight it. But more and more every day, I'm getting messages from people in my live shows, in my comment section saying, sorry, Savva, I called you negative. Sorry, Savva, I called you toxic, but it turns out you were right. Well, that's what happens when you don't have a good manager. When you have a manager that can't coach, that is inept, is not flexible, that can't adapt. Look back at the game yesterday. The gaps, the wide open gaps in behind Porro and Spence. And I'm not blaming them. It's the tactics. The wide open gaps between these players is utterly disgusting. Centre halves not marking people. Midfielders not running back. Wingers not running back. the whole setup is rotten to the core. There is no coaching. Let's have a look. There's a few things that have been sent to me that I thought were, you would say, funny, but let's be fair, damn right embarrassing is what we're looking at here. The first moment, everybody, I knew I didn't want Ange. The first moment I knew I didn't want Ange was this. That was the first moment. The moment he decided that that's how you play with 9 men. The first moment he decided that with 9 men on the pitch, we're going to defend on the halfway line. That was the moment I went, nah, you're rubbish. Nah, tactically, you are a nightmare. That was the first moment. They were the warning signs, the red flags that everyone's ignored. That all these fans that call people like me toxic are going, we support the club. If you can't support the club in the bad times, you don't deserve them in the good times. Have a day off. This isn't supporting a club in a bad time. This is me not supporting a manager through what is not a bad time. This is his time. This is what he does. This is how bad he's been. Let's have a look. Let me remove that banner, by the way. 1.14 points per game. That would be a 43-point season, which would be our worst since relegation in 1977. Big up to the boxing madman. I don't know him or her. I don't know. I'm guessing a him from the man. I don't know this person. I'm not on X. This was sent to me. This person is bang on. This would be a 43-point season, which would be our worst since relegation. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to continue, but a 1.14 points per game average is utterly disgusting and unacceptable. It is unacceptable. There are no excuses for it. There are no excuses. There are teams with worse squads than what we are putting out right now that haven't got the bad form we've got. So when we say injuries, the better players at Spurs have been the players who have come in for the injured ones. The worst players are the Basumas, the Sars, the Madisons, the Kulus, the Solankis, the Suns, the Poros. These have been our worst players, but we're blaming the injuries because the players that have come in aren't very good. They're not the problem. They're not the problem, people. Wake up. Smell that coffee. They are not the issue. This was an article on the BBC. Just how bad is it for Tottenham? The form table since the 24th of November. Tottenham are in the bottom 3 with 5 points available from 27. Let me repeat that. And if you need any, I've already written it down. 5 points from the last 27 is utterly disgusting. Utterly disgusting. 5 points from 27. And look at that at the bottom there. Tottenham have lost 11 games in the Premier League this season. They're joint most at this stage for a single campaign. Let that sink in. By the way, the manager that did that in 97, 98 was sacked. And the manager that did that in 08, 09 was sacked. 08, 09, remember? Ramos, sacked. Redknapp in. Boom. Sorted out the club. People tell me we don't need a new manager. We don't need a new manager. Have a look at this form table. Teams above us in this form table in that time. Everton sacked their manager. Wolves sacked their manager. Leicester, who are 1 point below us, sacked their manager. Southampton sacked their manager. What are we doing here? Look how embarrassing that is. It's well and truly embarrassing. And you know what? I wish that was the last one. There it is, just to back it up. Look at the state of it. Look at the absolute state of it. It is embarrassing. By the way, if you look at the form going back 15 months, it's embarrassing. Look at it, 15 months, it's embarrassing. Look at that. Draw, loss. Beat Southampton, loss, draw, loss. This is utterly shambolic. 5 defeats in our last, 7? 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 defeats in our last 8 Premier League games. I don't know. I don't know why I have to do this. I don't know how grown-up human beings aren't looking at this and going, yeah, this is bad. This is the worst. Apparently not. This. Here we go. Let's have a look at this. My favorite points per game. Look at this. The points average for this season is 1.14. And as the person who put this together, not me, has said, have a look at the other bad points per game. Sacked, 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 sacked. Ange, not sacked. 1.14 game points. 1.14 points per game after 21 games of football. Don't worry, let's not sack him. He's a good manager. He's the worst manager. I think he's one of the worst managers in the Premier League. I think he is absolutely dreadful. Let's have a look at just a little bit of our next 5 games coming up. Everton, Leicester, Brentford, Man U, Ipswich. This person here, big up to We Are Tottenham from the Lane, has said, yeah, time to start picking up some points. They're not wrong. Everton away, Leicester at home, Ipswich. We've got 3 of the bottom 4. 3 of the bottom 4 or 5 in our next 5 games. We've got to pick up points because this is getting utterly, utterly shambolic. And just a little snippet, if anyone wants to know how badly coached we are, that green dot is our right back. That green dot is our right back as a team counterattacks us. Just let that sink in. It's just one clip. Guys, I'm going to say this. I've never seen it so inept. I've never seen the fans so demoralised. Well, most of us anyway. Most of us that are not in that Ange until we die kind of group. I've never seen it this bad. I've never seen it this tactically poor. I've never seen us no coaching. I've never seen the lack of tactics. I've never seen lack of passion, lack of fight. People are saying to me, players are fighting for him. Lost 5 of our last 8 games. How are they fighting for him? The manager last night at half-time takes off 2 central midfielders and puts on a winger and a playmaker, leaving us completely exposed in the middle. He has no tactical ideas at all. He is dreadful. I'm sorry. He might be a lovely guy, but this guy has got to leave Tottenham Hotspur for all of our sanity. For yours, for mine, for everyone's. I'm utterly upset and embarrassed that this is my club. I'm embarrassed that this is our football club. This is our football club. I say my because I'm me, but this is our football club, guys and girls. Spurs fans, this is our club. Look what's happening to it. Look what's happening to it. And we're just sitting by going, it's okay, don't worry. The manager's got to go. We need a manager that can come in and steady this ship. People go, who comes in and wins? Forget winning. Forget winning right now. We need a manager to stabilize. We need a manager that can get us in the top half of the table. We need a manager that can put 3 or 4 wins together just to stabilize this club. We need a manager that can defend corners, set pieces. We need a manager that understands that on the transition, you don't have both your fullbacks on the halfway line. We need a coach. We need a coach. We need a coach. I have people coming on my shows saying, yeah, but if he comes in, do we win leagues? It's not about that right now. At the moment, stop the rot. Spurs are rotten. This manager is rotten to the core from a management standpoint, not a personal standpoint. It's rotten to the core, and we've got to change. And I'm going to read you out something here that someone just sent me. Right? And they've given me permission to read this out. And I'm going to end it on this because this kind of sums up how most fans should be feeling if they are true supporters and if they are devastated by what this manager is doing to this club. It says last season we lost 12 games, league games. We're on 11 now and it's only January. And then it says it's a rebuild. with a smiley, laughing emoji and a nervous emoji. We had injury problems to key players and a weaker squad last year. Yet this season, we're going backwards. Average players, a manager that stepped up to a level where he's incompetent, no signs of anyone being coached, a transfer committee that brings in either kids who aren't ready to be the core of the team or dross journeymen who are mid-table at best, and a chairman who has proven he either doesn't give a shit or doesn't know what he's doing. I'm not even sure I consider myself a Spurs fan anymore. I don't know what this is. I've been shown for years now. I connect to nothing at the club other than fans. He's a better person than me because I don't connect with a lot of these fans. I think they're customers and fake fans. There are no heroes, no leaders. There is no belief, no desire, no plan, an overall policy of reducing wages to guarantee we will never see top talent walk through the door. This season, I've chosen not to bother watching more games than in my previous 47 years as a fan. I didn't watch last night because it was obvious what would happen. I never thought I'd say it, but I miss Conte now. I disagree on that one, but yeah. At least he's passionate and ambitious. Something alien to this theme park run by clowns. Sack Ange or keep him. I don't give a shit anymore. I've got better things to do in my time. Rest in peace, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm going to ask every Spurs fan, dig deep, look inside yourself. Forget the ego. Leave the ego at the door. This isn't working, is it? Ask yourself honestly, this isn't working. People like Ben coming on and telling me, that Ben guy, Spurs have to hit the bottom of the V to go back up. Come on, these are just silly things now. Project, there's no project. Process, there's no process. Rebuild, there's no rebuild. This is buzzword symptoms. That's what this is. This is buzzwords to make ourselves feel better for how bad we are, for how bad a job this manager has done. And surely now I'm seeing it over the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Fans are coming in and saying, I was Ange in, I'm now Ange out. It's embarrassing. More and more are coming over, but so many are stubborn. They won't admit it. They won't admit that he's failing. And you know what? Ange, for me, is being saved because of the 1-0 win against Liverpool in the League Cup semi-final. I don't care. I don't care if we win the League Cup this year, if we finish where we are in the league table right now. This man is single-handedly destroying this club in the last year and a half. His tactics, there are none. His likability factor, it's gone. There is no likability anymore. I did a video about a year and a half ago saying this man's a breath of fresh air. It's gone. He's now a moody, arrogant, rude man in press conferences. I'm going to leave it there because I could rant about this club all day long. But at some point, guys and girls, we've got to be honest with ourselves and just say, this is not working. The manager is out of his depth. He is not good enough. And this club is going so far backwards, it's unreal. Fans who have supported this club for a long time have never seen it this bad. New fans seem to think this is good. I don't get it. I don't know what's happened to us. Surely we can all unite and get this manager out. Take care, everyone. Much love. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you for all your support in growing the channel. Take care, everyone, on what is a very bleak day to be a Tottenham Hotspur fan.